Hey there, this is Daniel and I'm doing a video tutorial on how to make a good full note build of your own. I'm not gonna show you my build and I'm not showing you the perfect build. There is no such thing as perfect build. It has to do with what you prefer as a player, and hopefully I can help you make your own build and make it a good one. So first is I'm gonna be using varunkita.com/planner. There are several character planners online, but this is one that I use. The only mistake the only flaw here is that the HP will show as much higher as it's supposed to be, because this planner was made with a patch where we had a lot of HP and it has changed now, but the rest should be correct. So what I'm gonna do is take my clone level to 55, it's the max level, and bonus AP, because I'm gonna be showing the end game build, the finished build. And yes, like I said, I'm not gonna make my build, and I'm not gonna make a perfect build because there is no such thing. But I'm gonna help you make your own custom build and show you what is good and what is not. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna help you make set up the defensive stances, the defensive skills. I mean, because it starts with a good defense, and everybody needs a good defense. The offense is optional. What kind of offensive capabilities you want to have? Offensive abilities you want to have. Sorry, I've had a little wine. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you the defense first. First I'm gonna do is I always take endurance to maximum, because that gives you more health and more health regen, as well as more a higher maximum armor use. And that's the first stance I'm maxing. The first stat I'm maxing. I'm sorry. And we're just gonna skip the rest of them for now. I'm making the defensive side now, and there is nothing more needed. You can get more strength to get higher health, but I wouldn't get strength only to get higher health, because even with full strength you get like a little over 100 HP, I think it is. That's not a lot. It's one shot from a pistol doing 100-150 damage, and you lose that. So let's leave that. But what you're gonna need is full armor use. Armor use gives you higher resistance while wearing armor, so your maximum, no, your total mitigation will go higher. So I always go with a lot of armor use. That will help you take less damage, so it's absolutely important. Go with armor use. We're skipping that because that's offensive ability. Dodge. Now there's this ability I think counters power and precision, and there's a lot of people saying you need you can go with 0 dodge, and some say you need max dodge, and some say you need 100. It's kind of a mystery what's the perfect amount is, because even with full dodge it's only a chance it's gonna prevent critical hits and such. So but I'm gonna go with maximum dodge, but I'm not gonna put points in coordination or perception to get a higher dodge. It's not that important, but I'm going with what I can have maximum on the before putting any points, any AP into the stats. So 130. If you have like me, I have the dreadnought suit, and a dreadnought suit gives you 60 plus in dodge, and the helmet gives you 20 plus. That's 80. So I've been told that a good amount of dodge is 150, 160, and I believe that to be true. So when I get dodge, I only get around 100, because with the armor and helmet I'm wearing, that gives me about 180. But I have some penalties from a stance I'm using, so I end up having about 168, and that's a little more than enough. Yeah, but unless you have the dreadnought suit, which I think is the only armor giving you more dodge, then you should definitely go with max dodge, I think. Escape Artist is kind of a tactical defensive option, so I'm not gonna take that yet. But first aid you're gonna be needing, because you have to have a solid defense, and I've given you a solid defense now, but you need a good healing too. And first aid is the best healing option for yourself. And I like having first aid at 174. To get 174, I need to get higher perception or intelligence. Now perception only does 25%, and intelligence does 75. So I'm gonna get more intelligence, because that's gonna raise first aid higher. Now, why do I go for 174? I'll explain that to you now. The second best staunch wound is at 156, I think it is. But at 174 you get the skill called Renew 4. Renew 4 removes snares and dots, and it's a bitch to get a good dot or a heavy snare on you, and Renew 4 takes away most of the snares, if not all. You can of course go for 186 first aid. That's the best staunch wound, but that's gonna be using superior bandages, and those are very expensive. So I'll leave that up to you if you want 186 bandages or 156. For me, average bandages is enough, and I have the second best staunch wound and the best renew at 174. Offensive, 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 offensive. Mutation. This is a defensive mutation. I like having it at. Well, I can tell you what it does. Empathy is healing yourself basically and healing others. You heal others for twice the amount you heal yourself. So it helps healing teammates and have teammates heal you, but it also works on yourself. And I like having it at 129, because that gives you, I think it is Benevolence 5 and Restoration 4, and that's a solid heal. Combined with first aid, those two will keep you healed if you use them at the right time in fights. You can of course get more empathy, but for that you need more charisma, and I'm not a big fan of charisma, as it takes a lot of AP. It takes 5 AP each time you raise it, and it's not good for a lot other than social empathy and enhancement basically. So I always take it at 129. I don't think getting it a lot higher does a big difference, because benevolence and restoration never become a lot better. It's a small difference. You can go with enhancement. That's enhancement gives you a stance and some auras, giving you more armor, and it's optional if you want that. And if you're going for 50% mitigation, you will probably need enhancement. So I like taking it at 120, because that's the that gives you calibration 5. That's a solid calibration, gives you, I think it's 300 something extra armor. You can of course go with more, and that also requires charisma. So if you're getting more charisma, you will have a higher empathy and enhancement. So that makes you more of a defensive player. But this is what I go with. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's what I'm going with, and I'm pretty happy with it. And that's pretty much it for defensive play. Like nano manipulation is healing as well, but you can only heal teammates. So if you're making a build who's gonna fight on his own sometimes, nano manipulation is not gonna help you. It can only heal teammates. And that is pretty much it on the defensive side. As you can see here, endurance, armor use, dodge, first aid, empathy, and enhancement. That should get you a pretty decent defense and also good healing. Now over to the offensive sides of your build. That is, like I said, you need a good defense. All builds needs a good defense and healing. The offensive is pretty much optional what you want there, but you all need good defense and healing. So over to the offensive. Now I'm gonna skip the stats, because you only get as much stats as you need for the skills. So let's go to the first skill. Dirty Tricks has a pretty okay dot. That also is an armor debuff. It has a snare, a pretty low snare. It's like 20% snare, and another armor debuff, I think it is. And should you take it or not, that's up to you. I usually don't go with it, but that's your choice. Like I said, dot, snare, armor debuff. Escape Artist, I'm not a big fan of. I think it's kind of for pussies. You get something called dash. You have dash 1 and dash 2 that makes you run faster for a few seconds. And you also have a temporary armor buff to yourself. It gives you a few hundred more armor for a few seconds. That's something to think about if you're going to be like a hit and run character. That would be useful for attacking a target and getting away easier. Escape Artist is pretty much what it says. Helps you escape. Group Tactics has a few auras, combat endurance, it can give you more stamina and gamma regen, but it's a very low regen. So the best aura there, I would say, is Give Him Hell. Give Him Hell gives you extra power, and that's my favorite aura. And you also get an armor debuff called Overwhelm that marks your target and takes away some of his armor. Now that's pretty helpful. I have Group Tactics on one of my character. I would say it's a good ability, but I'm not gonna be using that in this one. Heavy Weapons gives you the ability to use grenades and rocket launchers that require specifically require heavy weapons to use. There are a lot of grenades you can use without heavy weapons, but to get the best ones you need heavy weapons, and for both the rocket launchers, well, there are, I think it's 4 rocket launchers, you need heavy weapons. And heavy weapons, most used weapon I would say is the improved snare grenade. It does a 60% snare. Up until recently that was an unremovable snare, but with a recent patch they made us able to remove that snare with Renew 4, as I said you should get. So you're now able to remove that snare, but a lot of players do not have that ability, so snaring them with a grenade is a good choice. So I'm gonna go with that, but it requires strength and perception, so I'm gonna hold it for a bit. Now you need an attack skill. It's melee, pistol and rifle. That are the 3 attack skills. You could count heavy weapons as an attack skill, but I don't see a lot of fights being won with only heavy weapons. So these are the 3 main ones, and that's optional what you want to go for. I'm a big fan of pistols because I'm pretty sure pistols have the highest DPS of all the attack skills in game. And I'm also a fan of a stance the pistol has called concentration. Concentration is a stance in pistol that gives you a lot of extra attack skill, meaning you're saving a lot of AP. It doesn't only give you extra pistol attack skill, it gives you melee, rifle and even precision as well. So that is by far my favorite stance. And let's see, I'm gonna be using 195 pistol. Now let's pretend I'm using the Never-Ender's Revenge. That's all pistols, but for those of you that don't have those, and you have pistols with no mods, because the Never-Enders give you +4 extra pistol each, but let's pretend you're going for normal pistols, normal 195 pistols without any modifiers that give you extra pistol, so you need 195 to use them. So you can take 195, and I usually go for pistol at 150, because at 150 you get concentration 3, and concentration 3 give you 37 extra attack skill points. You can also get, if you have an armor like a volatile mesoprene armor, that gives you 15 plus in pistol and rifle. And you can also get, there are different goggles and glasses that gives you 13 plus in pistol. So there are a lot of armors and eyewear that gives you extra pistols. So if you have that, you're gonna need less. But I'm using an armor without any mods, so I need 195. So I get 195 minus the 37 the concentration 3 give me, end up having 158. So that's I need dexterity or perception to get 158 in pistol. Now should I get dexterity or perception? Perception is good for higher dodge, and you can also get higher first aid, but it's only 25% as I previously said. And dexterity is more for you get precision, and so it's up to you. I like taking dexterity higher because I like precision. Getting crit hits is important to me, so I go with a lot of dexterity. I'm taking dexterity up to 93 here, and at that point I get 158 pistols. and combined with a 158 pistols combined with a 37 I get from concentration, end up having 195 pistol. So I'm able to use my pistol with 100%. But as I said, if you have a volatile mesoprene suit, if you have glasses or goggles that gives you plus, you might want to go for concentration 3. Concentration 3, no, I'm sorry. You might want to go for concentration 2. Concentration 2 starts at 105. So you can get the 105, and then the concentration 2 will give you 25 more points. So it's 105 plus 25 plus the volatile suit plus the goggles. That's up to you. That's I've done a lot of research on it, and that works out well too, using goggles and armor. But for me, I'm currently using armor without any mods, so I need to have concentration 3 and 158. Alright, and a lot of players go with a second attack skill, like melee or rifle. I am a fan of both of them actually. Melee have some good one-handed weapons, like the volatile heater clubs, the Alpha blades, the volatile axe, and the rifle have shotguns for close combat, sniper rifles for maximum range combat, and some other things in between, like assault rifles shooting much faster. So that's up to you what you want to choose. I wouldn't recommend getting all 3 of them, because I don't think you will be able to use all 3 in a fight. You would be switching between weapons all the time, and not it wouldn't be effective. So you should choose, if you're gonna choose another attack skill, you should choose just one, is my opinion. A lot of people get 16 melee regardless if they're gonna use it in attack skill or not, because at 60 melee you get a skill called charge. Charge is a temporary speed buff, and that's become quite popular. It helps you catch up to enemies or run away from enemies, or you can use it before you start healing and make yourself a harder target while you are healing. So that's up to you. I like going with 60 melee, and if I wanted melee as another attack skill, I would go with that, but I'm gonna go with rifle this time, just to show that I'm getting 60 melee, even though I'm not gonna be using any melee weapons. I'm only gonna be going for the charge. So I get charge 1, and charge 1 have the same speed buff as the other charges. There's just a difference in how much, because you get a little extra power at the first hit as well, but I never use that. So charge 1 works for me. So my other attack skill is gonna be rifle, and since I'm already pistol and have dexterity, I have an affinity for rifle. So how much rifle should I get? That depends on how good rifles you want to be using. You're thinking, I'm a 55, I should be using 195 rifles. But to be honest, I don't think it's worth it, because there are no good level 55 shotguns, and actually there are no 55 shotguns at all. And the sniper rifle and the assault rifles there have such a tiny difference from its 180, the 180 rifles, that I don't think it's worth it. You could be using a 180 rifle or a 195 rifle, and it would be like 2 or 3, 4 maybe DPS and damage difference. It's such a small difference. I don't think it's worth it, but of course that's up to you. but for me I'm going for 180 rifles. And the sniper rifle there, I'm not gonna be needing the assault rifle because I have pistols and they shoot pretty fast. So I want the sniper rifle for long range combat, and the sniper rifle is at 180. Now I know that the 180 sniper rifle gives you 10 plus. It has a mod that gives you 10 plus in rifle, meaning that you don't need 180. You need 180 minus the 10 in mod, so you really need 170. Now you have 170, and because you're using a pistol stance, the concentration, you get 170 minus the 37 from concentration 3 equals 133. So you only have to get 133 in rifle and you will be using a 180 sniper rifle perfectly fine. And you're thinking, hey, what about the shotgun? Won't I be needing that? If you're going for the level 50 shotgun, that has no mods, so you would be needing 10 plus points here, because it doesn't have mods like the sniper rifle. But that shotgun, I'm not a big fan of it because it has low damage, I would say, decent DPS but low damage. The best shotgun for me is the Street Sweeper. That's a level 45 shotgun, and a level 45 shotgun only needs 164 or 65. So with 133 plus 37, I'm at 170, and the shotgun needed 164, 65. So with 133, I'm able to use what I think is the best shotgun, the Street Sweeper, and a very good sniper rifle. So there you have it. You have 2 attack skills, and now should you go for power precision? A lot of people like maxing these two. I've tried with maxing power, and we did some testing going max power and try to see the difference in damage output, and I must say the difference is very small. You should save the AP and get an armor debuff instead. That would make a much higher difference, because getting 130 power here, you will get let's say 3, 4, 5 damage more. And how often do you need that? So that's up to you, but I'm not a big fan of it. I am, however, a big fan of critical hits. Precision gives you a higher chance of getting crit hits. So I can have that very high. I can have it at 187 because I have dexterity and intelligence. So 187 would get you a lot of crit hits. Social is only if you're going to be a social tune and get better deals from merchants. It has, however, a stance called Flag of Truce. It makes you neutral with all factions, so you can sneak into PP zones, into faction towns owned by opposite factions, and the guards won't shoot you. But I am running a pistol stance, so I would have to unequip that one and use the social stance. But I'm not building a social character, so I'm not gonna have anything in that. Now I think you should get a mutation too, because it's you got gamma for a reason, right? So and I think you should have one defensive and one offensive ability taking gamma. I don't think you should have 2. You could, if you're getting, let's say you're getting suppression and telekinesis. Empathy would be taking gamma to heal, and suppression and telekinesis would be taking gamma for attacks. You would run out of gamma so fucking fast, you would only be using one ability from each and then be out of gamma. So I recommend getting one defensive and one offensive ability using gamma. Enhancement you're only getting for the aura, and the aura doesn't take any gamma, so I'm not counting that. That's the defensive ability, and now I'm gonna choose an offensive ability. Now illumination, I don't even want to get into that. It has some auras giving you a tiny amount of extra gamma and stamina. It's ridiculous. This line should never been here in the first place. Never take this shit. Nano manipulation is for healing others. If you're gonna be a backup tune, a healer tune, it's a good ability to use in a group to heal your teammates and such. But I'm building a tune who's gonna fight on his own a lot, and so I'm not cutting nano manipulation because you cannot heal yourself with it. Pattern transmission has a pretty weak snare. It's like 20%, and it has an ability that lowers the enemy's attack skill. That's pretty useful. It's a pretty powerful attack skill removal, because if you remove, let's say, 40 attack skill from your opponent, he's gonna do way less damage. So you're probably thinking, I should probably get that now, but it only lasts for, I think it was 10 seconds, and you have to wait another minute to use it again. And let's face it, for 10 seconds he could just be running around healing and just not attack you at all. So that's up to you, but I don't think 10 seconds is gonna settle any fight for me, so I'm not getting that. Primal is what I would call shit, because it has a skill that it has a stance that gives you more health, but it reserves half your gamma, so you're not going to be having a lot of gamma to heal. And it also has an ability that take away the same amount of HP from yourself as you inflict on the other target. It's an extra damage skill. Let's say you equip it and you do 60 extra damage on your opponent. That's gonna cost you 60 health points from yourself. So you're killing yourself while killing the enemy. I have no idea why anyone would pick that, but like I said, up to you. Sonic, it has some dots and instant damage thingy. I'm not a big fan of it because neither of them are too powerful, and they take a lot of gamma to use this thing, so I'm not going to be using that. Now, suppression is a skill used to steal away your opponent's gamma and stamina. But the thing is that you need a lot of stamina gamma in the first place to use it. It requires a lot to be used, so it's gonna cost a lot. So unless you have very good regions, you shouldn't be getting this one, because you might ending up taking away almost as much from yourself as your opponent. But by all means, if you have good regions, it's a pretty good skill. If you take away stamina and gamma from your opponent, he's not going to be able to heal. He's going to have problems using skills and that shit. So yeah, this is a good skill, but I think you need good regions to use it. Telekinesis is one of my favorites. It has a very strong armor debuff called Bend Metal. It has an instant damage thingy called Propel. It does not additional damage. You shoot it like a pistol, so you kind of have to aim and hit the target when you're using this thing. And I like it. The armor debuff especially. Thermal control, a friend of mine, he loves it. Well, thermal control is dots. It has um, a dot lasting 15 seconds. It has a dot lasting 7 seconds, that being a higher damage dot. It has an instant damage and one more skill, I think it is. So it's basically dots you select between us. I'm pretty sure he picked it because he got a terrible aim, and to use thermal control you just have to target the enemy on forehand and then press which skill you want to inflict on him. And so this should be a good skill for a guy who can't aim right, but even though he has to click the enemy first and then attack him, he has put several dots on me during fights by accident. So even even World of Warcraft clicking couldn't help him. So to sum it up, these skills, these 5, I wouldn't consider. Well, nano manipulation if you're gonna be a healer, but otherwise, no, I don't think you should be using these 5. Suppression, telekinesis, and thermal control are good skills, I would say. And to use this, you need intelligence. You already have that, but I'm gonna be going for, let's say, I'm gonna be going for suppression on this build. To use suppression, well, I could get 130 suppression, but I'm going for a higher one, so I need perception. Perception is something I could choose to get here, while I chose dexterity to get higher precision instead of perception. So I'm gonna change that in the build. I'm gonna take away, let's see, I spent 93 points in dexterity. Well, actually I spent 140 points. I spent 140 points in dexterity. So I'm gonna be removing those and putting the same amount in perception. That should be there, I think. And now, as you can see, I have to fill in the points. 158 pistol again, 133 in rifle, and as you can see, my precision has gone down with about 20, a little over 20 points. So that's something you have to choose. But as you can see here, you now can have higher dodge, and I would get as high dodge as possible if you don't have the dreadnought suit like I'm running with. And also you get a higher affinity for first aid. Now you can either choose to get the 186 bandages like I talked about, but that uses superior bandages and that's more expensive, or you can take down intelligence now that you now have some perception. So I'm gonna be doing that. Since I spent points in perception, I can take down intelligence a few points until it hits 174, because that's what I'm going for. There we go. See, I could take down intelligence with a lot of points here and have 174 first aid, because I now have perception and intelligence. And further down here, I now have the ability to get 172 in suppression. If I wanted 180, I would have to get max perception, and actually I'm gonna be going for that, so I'm going up here and maxing my perception, going back and getting 180. That should get you a very good suppression. You can of course get more, but that would require you to get willpower, and willpower is the biggest waste of AP you can do. If you spend AP in willpower, there's no hope for you, man. So fuck willpower. The best you can get is 180. And As you can see here, since I spent more points in perception, I'm able to get higher dodge, and also I can take away more intelligence. There you go. I could take it down 2 notches because I had more perception. And now I have a very solid defense. I have 2 attack skills. I have pistol and rifle with almost 150 precision. That's pretty good. And I have charge, and I have a good healing with extra armor, and I have an attack skill. Like I said, 1 defensive and 1 offensive mutation attack skill. So I have 105 AP to spend. You can spend them as you want. This would work out as a very good build, I would say. And I say it again, this is not my build. This is not the perfect build. This is me trying to show you how you can make one of your own. And with the 105 I have, I don't know, I could get more strength to be able to carry more, and also get more health regen and health. I could get some group tactics to get a halfway good armor debuff, dirty tricks. That's up to you. Maybe you want to get more charisma. You go up here, put more points in charisma, and suddenly you can get more empathy and enhancement. So what you want to do with that is up to you. I'm just gonna be throwing it in strength to get more health. Like you see, I can get it pretty far up now. That's gonna be about 60-70 more health points. So there we have it. That's this is my guide how to make a good build of your own, and hopefully you have learned something and you're able to understand more now how you make a good build of your own, because there is no perfect build out there. It is simply what you prefer, you as a player prefer to spend AP in, and hopefully I have explained it okay, how to make your own custom build. Of course you can copy this one, but I recommend making your own build that fits your playing style. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna go to bed now because I've been drinking red wine. Alright, good night guys.